Happy Saturday, happy core day. We are staying down on the ground today, I think, for the most part. So, getting started, we are gonna do some weighted sit-ups. So, you can use whatever you want for a weight here. I am gonna use a dumbbell, but if you have like a medicine ball, if you have a wine bottle, if you have anything with weight, you can use that as well. For a weighted sit-up, all that we're gonna do, you can choose to either hold this on your chest like this, or up overhead like this. I prefer this way. We've got 40 seconds there. That's our first movement. Our second movement is a plank hip dip. So for a plank hip dip, we are down in this low plank. I'm nice and flat, and all that I'm doing is tapping each hip down to the ground, nice and slow and in control, all right? So we are getting started with those weighted sit-ups. Grab something. I'm using a 10-pound dumbbell. You can use whatever feels good for you, or you can do these unweighted. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. If a full sit-up isn't feeling right for you, you can also just do a little crunch here. You're gonna hear my shoulders cracking. That's just part of me having mobility issues. I'm being too stubborn to work on them. Again, nice and slow and in control. On the way down, you want to focus about controlling as well. There's no need to do these fast. 3, I was just counting down. 3, 2, 1, rest. So, we got 40 seconds on. We rest for 20. We go into the second move of the superset here. So in 10 seconds, we're gonna drop into those plank hip dips. Now again, you're down in a low plank, down in your forearms. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Nice flat back, hips are tapping each side. If this is way too much for you, you don't like the low plank, all that I want you to do is hold a high plank here. But if you can, let's get nice and low. These are really great for your obliques, which is like those side abs. Make sure you keep breathing during this. I know these burn, I know they burn. 3, 2, 1, rest. Woo! It's gonna be a tough one today, guys. All right, we've got our second round here of weighted sit-ups in about 10 seconds. And again, you can hold whatever you want. If your weight is too much, grab something a little bit lighter. Most important thing is that you're controlling your core here. 1, let's go. Nice and slow on the way down. I promise you'll get more out of these doing them slow than fast. It's a common misconception about core work specifically is that like you have to do like 100 reps of something, or you have to do all of these reps, when realistically with your core, it's usually the slow, boring movements that don't look like they're doing a lot that will actually do the most for you. 2, 1, rest. Woo! Same thing with those hip dips. No reason to have to go fast here. Nice and slow with good form. Here we go. Let's flip. And in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Again, just tapping that hip down to the ground, using those oblique muscles to stay nice and strong. If you ever need to drop, shake it out for a second. Get right back into it. Oh, we've got a visitor. Keep pushing, keep pushing. Remember, if you need to, take a second, shake it out. I'd rather you have good form for most of it. 2, 1, rest. And push through with not so good form and hurt yourself. So we've got one more round of weighted sit-ups. You're gonna get some Zoe content. And we're making it a good Saturday. Happy Christmas Eve Eve. 2, 1, let's go. Nice and slow. Remember to keep breathing. It's like a secret shoulder workout too, depending on how you're holding this dumbbell. Three, two, one, rest. One more round of hip dips and you guys get a little break while I explain the next two movements. All right. Hip dips in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Did you have a good walkie? Yeah? Oh, that's not helping.
Zoe.
I wish it had some weighted hip dips. Keep breathing. Three, two, one. Rest. Take a second, grab some water. I'm going to explain our next two movements here. All right. So for our second superset, hang on, I need some water too. Second superset, we've got seated up and overs. I'll be honest, I don't know what these are actually called, but this is what I call them. So you're going to grab something. It could be a dumbbell. It could be a water bottle. You basically just need something to use as a prop. You're not even gonna touch it. It's just gonna be chilling at the end of your mat here. Seated up and over, we're on our butts, hands are down on the ground, and there's a few different ways you can do this. You can do this 2 feet at the same time, where you're gonna pull up with those lower abs, and just come up and over. You can also do this one leg at a time. If you need a modification, okay? So that's our first movement. Our second movement is a bear plank. You guys know I love my bear planks. So we are in down on all fours. Our toes are down here. I'm trying to get so you guys can see me. All fours, toes are down. All that we're gonna do is push up with our toes. Our knees hover about 3 inches off the ground, and we hold. It's a long one, but it's a good one, okay? So we are getting started with those up and overs in 10 seconds. Again, it doesn't really matter what you use here. You could use a water bottle. You could use anything that you can go up and over. 2, 1. Nice and seated, hands are down. We're pulling up with our feet. If you need that modification, do 1 foot at a time and let that other foot rest on the ground. But if you can do both and just tap down in between, let's push here. This is really good for those stubborn lower abs. I know that was always like a struggle area for me.
10 seconds.
Keep breathing. Remember, keep those hands down for stability here. 2, 1, rest. 15 seconds and we're going into some bear planks. We've done walking bear planks before. We haven't done stationary bear planks. So, you might be familiar with the bear plank. 2, 1, let's go. Remember, toes are down. We're just lifting those knees about 3 inches. My wrists are stacked under my shoulders. My head is facing down, so I'm in a neutral spine position. Think about sucking your belly button into your back. I know that sounds really weird, but that's what's gonna keep your good posture here. Your knees should be stacked under your hips, wrists stacked under your shoulders. 2, 1, rest. Woo! Again, it's those movements that don't look like they're doing much that you are gonna feel the most. We've got 10 seconds before we go back into our second round of up and overs. Get your prop set. Now, if you did the modification for the first round, maybe the second round we try with 2 feet. If it's too much, you can always go to the modification halfway through. Because trust me, the modification is still really hard. It's still working those abs, those lower abs, the entire time. And the higher your prop is, the more challenging you're making this for yourself. Three, 2, 1, rest. Whew. Back to some bear planks. Two, 1, let's go. Toes are down. We're just lifting those knees about 3 inches. You'll notice my back stays nice and flat here. If you notice you're like this, take a second, shake it out. Knees stacked under your hips, wrists stacked under your shoulders. If you notice yourself arching, coming down, again, take a second, shake it out, realign yourself, and push back up. You should be pushing the floor away from your feet and from your hands. And suck that belly button into your backbone. 2, 1, rest. One more round. Remember those nice strong cores. This is about so much more than visible abs. This is about you protecting your lower back. This is about you having better posture. This is about you being stronger in your other lifts. In 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Last round of up and overs here. Core strength is too important to skip. Especially these deep core muscles that we're working today. Woo! If your abs aren't feeling it after this one, you're better than me.
10 seconds.
3, 2, 1, rest. All right, guys, we've got one more bear plank, and then we're done for the day. Now, lots to be proud of. Whether this is an add-on to your workout, or maybe you were planning on taking a rest day today, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do a core workout. Here we go, 2, 1, let's go. I know this is a hard time of the year, so the fact that you're taking this time for you, something to be proud of. Building momentum to head into the new year with. Remember, if you notice your forearm starting to slip, reset yourself. Wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath your hips, up on your toes. You're about shoulder width apart. You're pushing the floor away. 2, 1, rest. Woo! If you need to after this one, guys, child's pose. Put those feet together. I'm not a yogi, so I might be explaining this wrong. Feet together, knees nice and wide. Reach those hands out and sit back. This will feel really good on your shoulders right now. As well as maybe a few cat-cows. All right, guys, good job. I've got an exciting one for you tomorrow. So stay tuned and I'll see you guys tomorrow.